Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Arcade's Week in Culture. My name is Brian. I'm here with John, the problematic white guy, and we're going to be bringing you guys the cultural news of the week and, probably try to dig a little bit deeper than most people that usually make this content on YouTube do. So, first of all, hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Please like the stream if you could. If you're watching on Rumble, welcome, welcome. And hi, John. How are you doing?
Oh, awesome as always. It's been like I was just saying before the show began. I've been playing a lot of games this week. I was gifted quite a few things, so I can't really
Yeah.
complain. Yep. Yeah. No, it's been kind of low key holiday season for me. Like I'm just one dude, so I don't really have like a reason to go out and make like a whole huge extravaganza
Hmm.
of like an elaborate spread or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's been I
I
can't
hear that.
complain.
I hear that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
same
been
same here. I mean, I'm
good.
gonna, when we get close to like a holiday season, I tend to like, chill out more. Gotta watch Lord of the Rings. Like I'm definitely gonna do
Oh
that.
yes, yes. Lord of the
I
Rings
do
is
every
definitely
year. I try to watch Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, the six movies that are the only
right.
movies in Star Wars.
Right.
I actually had the holiday special too.
Oh right.
It's better than the Force, so better than Disney Star Wars. I don't care what
Yeah,
anybody
yeah, I
says.
will say yes, that is definitely a
Yeah,
higher caliber of e- e-
you can
even
watch
though
it
it
all
may
on
not be
YouTube for free if you
right,
want.
even though it may not be great, it is still hilarious, and it's
Oh, no, it's
certainly
hilarious. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's
yeah, yeah,
funny, entertaining. That's exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Although,
so yeah.
that's oddly enough, that's when people talk about I'm no fan of the taco fight, as I call it, but it was some of the most unintentional, laugh out loud comedy I have seen in quite some time. I don't want them to make another season, but I did laugh my ass off at all the, lesbian space witches and, they're
Yeah,
dancing around and,
I
you
don't
know,
think we're getting another season.
burning mountains to the ground and all. Oh, Jesus.
I don't think that's happening.
No, no,
Mr.
I think we're
033
safe.
says, "I've never actually seen the holiday special." Well, look, okay, brace yourself, but you can watch the whole thing for free on YouTube. Just remember, it is kind of like a promotional Star Wars thing, and it's definitely aimed at kids, and it's definitely supposed to like get the, like think about when it came out. But if you want to see something where Harrison Ford is like really phoning it in because he's just
Mhm.
like, I want the paycheck, and is it Terry Hatcher? Is that her name that played
Oh,
Leia?
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie
Yeah, she looks
Fisher.
like
Carrie
she looks
Fisher
like
is
she's
high
pretty
as a
coked out.
kite.
Yeah. It's something special. Alright.
Yeah, it's got droids, it's got Chewbacca, it's got Ewoks. I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
It's definitely comedy. I'll say
It
that.
is
Yeah,
comedy
Carrie
gold.
Fisher, high as hell. So
Yeah.
anyway, um, but let's get into the stories because we got a lot to get to today. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Please hit the like button if you could. It really helps me out to reach more people. So I mean, Return of the Jedi had Ewoks, yes, but there was even. Do you guys remember the cartoon, the Ewoks? Anybody? There was a droids
Vaguely.
show and a droids cartoon and an Ewoks cartoon.
Yeah.
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 So but yeah, I don't mind the Ewoks. I used to hate them, but I'm kind of like, it's like Jar Jar, I'm like, Jar Jar's not that bad. Now that I look back, perhaps I
Mm.
treated you too harshly.
Right, right.
Oh,
Quite honestly, I would have rather they had
I'd
done a
rather have
Darth
that than
Jar
lesbian
Jar
space
than
witch any
yeah,
day of the week. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um. All right, but anyway, with that said, yeah, let's talk about Ubisoft's latest move in desperation. This is like ultimate desperation. And it's so weird, like these promotions. I got another one too that's even weirder than this. Um, it's just a weird thing because it's like they're really out of touch. Like I
Right,
don't know that Attack on Titan is still like relevant. Like that show ended years ago, right?
right.
But Ubisoft has launched a limited time Assassin's Creed Shadows X Attack on Titan collaboration on November 26, 2025, available until December 22nd. So hurry up and get involved before it's over. but featuring the free Beyond the Walls story quest set in a crystal cave. God. Players control Naue and Yasuke to investigate a bioexperiment, unleashing a Titan boss involving traversal, a chase sequence with ODM gear inspired mechanics, and no direct Titan combat. So you don't actually fight Titans in it. There are Titans in it, but you don't fight them. I guess they're background decoration. Free rewards include the Cavern Shard legendary katana for Naue, reactive shell engraving, hideout banners, and an Eren-inspired statue, while paid cosmetics offer a Survey Corps uniform for Naue and exposed Titan musculature armor for Yasuke. The crossover, as you may have guessed, faced intense backlash, with fans decrying atrocious cutscenes, stiff animations, lack of substantial Titan fights, and a cringeworthy ending pop-up urging players to buy the outfits. A complete waste of time. Viral memes with humorous overlays amassed millions of views, prompting Ubisoft to issue copyright strikes on X and YouTube, which, didn't help, further fueling the outrage. In its wake, Ubisoft confirmed no second major explanation after Claws of Awaji, pivoting to chunkier reactive updates like the collab itself, citing development challenges and community feedback. This reeks of desperation from Ubisoft, despite Shadows supposedly topping European new release charts earlier in 2025. The game has been mired in launch controversies over historical accuracy. Yeah, and I'm sure an expansion or DLC pack or event or crossover featuring Attack on Titan is actually going to that's really driving home the historical accuracy of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Right.
They shoehorned a mismatch anime crossover into a feudal Japan stealth action title. It's like a frantic bid for relevance and player retention via viral hype, but its abject failure, prompting DLC cuts and PR self-sabotage, only underscores Shadows' struggles to sustain momentum. And I got a little teaser trailer for you guys. I thought we would look at it and then give our thoughts. I just think this is hilarious. It's comedy. And it's pathetic. But here's the What was that?
What year does Attack on Titan supposedly take place in?
I think it's in the future or something.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's in contemporary time. I think it's some point in the future, which was another thing that just kind of cuts against the overall narrative of Assassin's Creed.
Deadly Do Right says, "Wait, it was official? I thought it was a shitty fan mod. No, it's real.
No, this is real. Everyone
really and it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's watch the teaser. I think there were clips that were doing the round.
Yeah.
This doesn't have sound. I like
Fortnite's Creed, dude. This is
what
I said. It's like Fortnite's Creed here.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's try again.
We call them Titans. A monster that wields death on a scale you've never seen.
I'm going to pause it here because Ubisoft is probably going to throw the book at me if I play too much at once. So please, Ubisoft, fair use. I'm just cataloging your absolute disaster piece for, let's just say, for historical, archiving.
Right.
You got when before Albrecht and his fanatics forced him to shift and destroy everything you've ever known.
And if Galtrin succumbs, they'll have a Titan.
So terrible.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, how do you think this is gonna pan out for them? This is a bold strategy, Cotton.
Right. Well, Ubisoft is already in its dying days as Ubisoft proper. It is getting gobbled up by Tencent entirely, and I've been saying time and time again for the last year and a half that it was going to happen because ultimately they'll be fine with it because it does get rid of all the information that's on their servers about their connections to the WEF and all that kind of stuff. I think they would. So this is just another drop of water in the ocean for all the things that plague Ubisoft as a development studio at this point in time, and a publisher. So, but yeah, this does not. If are you winning, son? No, they are not. Yes, I read something this morning too, right before the show began, that they're evidently people want them to put a jump button in the game, as if that will fix anything. Yeah, putting a jump button in Assassin's Creed as though that will somehow make the game more playable. It's just and they honestly, this I did have to agree with. They're like, well, we could try to put a jump button in, but that would kind of throw off all the dynamics that we built into the game already. And it's like, yeah, you have to make those choices from the onset. And if you're doing so badly that you're sitting here and running to Reddit or your forums or whatever it might be, trying to figure out how is it that we can win people back, and your idea is, oh, we'll put in stuff that has nothing to do with our property.
Who came up with this idea? Who was in the boardroom when they were like, okay, guys, Assassin's Creed Shadows is not doing as well as expected, despite all of our efforts to try to make people think it was, and everyone's mad at us right now. And they also are, I guess they wanted like certain fixes, and they wanted some DLC that's like gonna like help finish the story or like round things out, because apparently there are threads, loose ends, and it's likely the case because Yasuke himself was just like a last minute add-on. They're like, let's put George Floyd in the game. It's probably the same person. Well, we tried putting George Floyd in the game and it didn't work. So, and he was a gentle giant. So why don't we get a less gentle and much larger giant and put that in the game? I just finished watching the hot new show the kids are into right now called Attack on Titan. Have you heard of this? We're going to put that. Oh my God. And they were like, yes, stamp that, approved. Let's do it. And they got people to work on it.
Right.
And put it out.
Well, here's the thing, Attack on Titan, it's an anime, so that's Japanese. So
yeah, you kids like Japanese things like anime, right?
Right,
you weeb nerds. What's a big popular anime right now? I mean, if you were gonna do a crossover for Assassin's Creed Shadows with an anime, why would you do this one? I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think it would save it anyway. But I would have maybe done like, I don't know, Rurouni Kenshin or something. Like something that involves like maybe Samurai Champloo. I don't know. Like, what is it? Do you guys what do you guys think? I mean, does that
I don't get it. Yeah, Samurai Champloo would be a good one, I suppose.
Twin Ninja Chronicles or Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That should just be its own game, but that's just me. So
indeed. But, oh God, and I gotta say, I've never watched Attack on Titan. But if this is the kind of things they're getting into to try to, I don't know if I ever will now. I've heard things about it.
You know what? I tried to watch Attack on Titan, and I just thought it was just too out there for me conceptually. And look, I'm a JoJo fan, and JoJo's weird, but Attack on Titan is like, I don't know. It's just I just couldn't get into it. Afro Samurai, I didn't care for that. But I mean, that could work. But then that would literally
they already have their own Afro Samurai.
Yeah, they already have an Afro Samurai.
He doesn't need competition.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's just strange choice. I think there actually was an Attack on Titan video game, and I don't know how good it was, but I know that there was one that existed. So if you wanted to, and it's old, it's been out for years.
Yeah.
So if you wanted the Attack on Titan experience, why wouldn't you just play the video game? Like,
right. Yeah, because Attack on Titan's been around for about a decade now, a little over, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I think you're right. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while. It's been out for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is just. And it's not just the Attack on Titan stuff that's in the game as well. Today's thumbnail comes from a scene where Nawe, or as I like to call her, No Way, and Floyd Skay were doing a I guess they were sparring in battle, and that
Oh boy.
dude's and that dude's off to the side watching with this other guy who has just as priceless of facial animation. Like this game is so wooden. It's so just plasticine.
Mhm.
It's like it's 2025. How is it? How is it that games look worse now than they did 20
Yeah.
years ago? You know, I
Well,
just
that one does for sure.
right.
But yeah, so I'm sorry, but this just sounds like the death throes of a dying studio, and it's
Mhm.
desperate. And the thing is, too, from what I read, apparently this was so disastrous that Ubisoft is like, we're not releasing any more DLC for this game, so they're not making any more content for Assassin's
Mhm.
Creed Shadows. Uh, this was like the dumbest move you could possibly make, I think, like for
Right.
this franchise. So I mean, look, and I'm okay with it. Like whatever. Like I have the Assassin's Creed games that I want.
Mhm.
I own the first two, and that's it. And I thought they were fine. They were great. There are still some great Ubisoft games, but they're not making them anymore. Those are in the past. You know what else I love? And I've been actually thinking about streaming it again, or I don't think I ever streamed it before, but it's Far Cry. It's Far Cry 3, but it's not the game. It's like the sort of cyberpunk 80s,
Right, right.
well, I forget what it's called, but it's like something dragon.
Yeah,
Fucking
Blood
badass.
Dragon.
Like
Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon, yes, Blood
Yeah.
Dragon. That's the shit right there. Blood
Yeah.
Dragon is the shit. It's so much fun. So I could stream that, and it's not hard. It's kind of a power fantasy, but it's a
Yeah.
good time. The Blood Dragon's the shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, do you have any final thoughts on this?
No, not I mean every thought on Assassin's Creed should be a final thought. Just because it's not worth your time or your effort.
Yeah.
But this game, what they did, just to sum it up, this was like, wow, they really are just Fortniting everything. And then this morning, as I'm getting ready for the show, I come and I find out that evidently it gets worse. Kill Bill evidently. Am I? All right,
Yep.
all right, all right. I will.
That's
I
literally
didn't.
the next topic.
Okay, all right,
gonna
all
get
right. Well,
into
I will.
that.
I
Yes,
won't
you're
spoil
right.
it then. But
It's the
yes, everything is
Fortnitification
getting
of everything.
Fortnited. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I'll
Okay.
just leave
I
it
knew you
there
were going to
then.
say that. I could tell. I was like, he's going to say the thing that I picked out for the next topic.
All
So let me
right.
read some of y'all comments, and then we'll get into that. So let's see. Gabriel says, "We was Titans." Mr. 303 says, "I like how they never showed the Titan in the trailer." I saw like a clip on X going around. It looks bad. Like it looks poorly animated. The thing about Attack on Titan for me is just not aesthetically pleasing. And I guess I need something to have like a like good eye for design. And the
Mhm.
Titans are like retarded babies with like, despite them being giant monsters, they have like this guy's hair
They
is
run
pretty
like
like
Phoebe,
nicely
as
combed.
someone mentioned
And
last night.
I just don't get it. Like it doesn't make sense to me. So maybe I just don't know it that well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. 303 says maybe the level design is so bad that the players are desperate for some fix, hence the jump button.
Hmm.
What is associated with Japan? Their version of Game of Thrones. Is that what Attack on Titan is? It's Game of Thrones? Ugh. Let's see.
Even more reason not to watch.
Yeah. Afro Samurai was the same type of cringe. Yeah, I didn't watch it because I had some black friends who were a little bit too hyped about it because they felt like represented, and I was like, I'm sorry, but it looks. And the thing is, it was like I was already into the Boondocks. I didn't need a show that show was just that, but a lot less, in
Mhm.
my opinion. And they made a video game based on it and everything. So you know what they could do? They could cross over with Samurai Jack. That maybe give Warner Brothers a call. They're not doing anything with that franchise property.
Right.
Um,
They're struggling too, maybe.
yeah. Gabriel says the Koei game is good. Yeah, I thought it was Koei Tecmo that made it, but I didn't want to like put my foot in my mouth, so I just didn't say anything. Let's see. Blood Dragon, yes. Featuring Michael Biehn, yes. Yes, of Aliens and Terminator. That's that was like the extra icing on the cake. Michael Biehn is so awesome. Like he's just a really cool, down to earth guy. Love it. NobaFan21 gives $1 on Rumble. Thank you, NobaFan, and says, weren't the Titans themselves a giant metaphor for the cycle of revenge via violent oppression? I'm curious what historical event they think they're referencing. I don't know. It's funny, like the a lot of the stuff that the Japanese put in their stories does often make a reference to their culture and specifically their history, and they're pretty good about doing it in a way that isn't like as on the nose as a lot of Western, showrunners and writers and filmmakers do. Like I was watching this show. It's really old. It came out in like the 60s. And it was Giant Robo, I guess, is like in Japan. But in America, it was called like Johnny Sacco and the Giant Flying Robot or something. And you can watch like all the episodes on Amazon. And so I was like, I want to watch some of these. And they were so like funny and wholesome, like like the way. But it is basically like a show that was like kaiju fights, right? With this giant robot with an Egyptian like an Egyptian pharaoh headdress thing. And then I was like curious, like, well, where do they come up with this, right? And I look it up on YouTube, and turns out like the Japanese interpretation of the story is a lot darker because it's basically like what would happen if you gave a child a super weapon, and that's that's what it is. This kid gets a watch that and he's I guess he gets bonded to the robot by some radioactive like events. And again, because Japan was, we bombed the shit out of them. I think that's like sort of affected them culturally ever since. So it's interesting. So Gigantor, no, it's called Giant Robo. Gigantor might be older actually, so you might be right about that. But in Japan it was called Giant Robo. Here in America it was called Johnny Sacco and his flying giant robot or something like that. And Sacco is spelled Sokkko. Look it up. You'll recognize it. And they made an anime out of it later that was, looked really good. Has like this retro look to it. But anyway, I digressed. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think that Attack on Titan probably does have something to say like that. But a lot of Japanese things do. Like Gundam, I think, has a lot to say about war, and it's like one of the longest running series in Japan. So
easily,
yeah. All right. So anyway, let's get into the next story. Thanks, guys, for your comments. All right. So as John had kind of buried the lead a little bit, but that's okay. Yes, this is really weird too. So Epic Games has partnered with Quentin Tarantino to revive the lost chapter Yuki's Revenge, which is an unfilmed script sequence from Kill Bill Volume 1, where Yuki Yubari, sister of Gogo Yubari, travels from Japan to America, seeking bloody vengeance on the bride for killing her sibling. Animated in Unreal Engine using Fortnite models featuring cameos like Peely the Banana and Skull Trooper, the short stars Uma Thurman reprising the bride via motion capture and Chiaki Kuriyama voicing Yuki and Gogo. It premieres exclusively in Fortnite's Discover tab on November 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, tying into Chapter 7's launch post-Zero Hour event. Free rewards include the Yuki outfit for logins between November 27th and December 1st, so you can get it now if you play Fortnite. Gogo skin codes with theater tickets to the December 5th Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair re-release, plus paid battle pass / item shop cosmetics like the Bride Styles, Katana Glider, and Crazy 88 NPCs. The crossover has sparked viral excitement, with trailers and leaks racking up millions of views, fans celebrating the lost media resurrection of a 20-year-old script once leaked online, and praise for blending Tarantino's vision with Fortnite's technology, positioning it as family bonding over cinema lore and a bold Chapter 7 hype machine. No significant backlash beyond minor gripes like Epic censoring Pussy Wagon to Princess Wagon. Yeah, no shit. Instead, it's hailed as innovative synergy with the short screening in theaters too, driving cross-media buzz without PR fumbles. So they took a movie that is really, really R-rated, like hard R-rated, okay? And it's like over 20 years old. It's like 20 years old, Kill Bill.
Easily. I was married when this thing came out. So yeah.
What?
I say I was still married when Kill Bill was a thing.
Yeah.
I worked at a Blockbuster. Like, we're talking like a long ass time ago. Yeah, this is quite interesting. And interesting doesn't mean good necessarily.
Yeah, no, I think it's just actually kind of troubling because
Yeah.
again, this movie is not for kids.
Right.
I mean, it's really explicit. You remember the bride goes into a coma in the beginning of the
Mhm.
movie, and what's the name of the character that like basically rapes her corpse or like her
Right,
comatose
right,
body over and over again, and like invites other guys to do it too. Like that's
right.
just what, and I mean, let's just Tarantino's like Frank Miller. He just like he goes dark all the time, like really dark. Okay, and I mean, I'm an adult, so it's like I can just see it as entertainment. Buck, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Buck.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but this is like kids that play Fortnite are
That's
being essentially exposed to this. They're gonna and they're offering like promotional stuff to watch the movie. Like,
right.
guys, have you seen the movie? It's not a family film.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but can we just be honest that there are some pieces of media that are not kid friendly? Like, and
You would
then you're
like
going to
to
use a video game that kids play to promote that franchise?
right? Because
It's
well,
just
as you
weird.
mentioned, the princess wagon in this game, that that's literally in the
Yeah, the
movie.
Princess Wagon. Yeah.
The yeah, yeah, that is Buck's truck, and
Yes.
she takes it after, she exacts
Kills
her
him.
revenge for, yeah,
Yeah.
for all the fucking, sexual exploitation that's happening to her while
Well, she
she's
doesn't even know that he
she
did
does,
that to
yeah,
her, but
true enough, but
so he
still,
is an obstacle she has to overcome. So yeah.
right, right, right. So, yeah, this thing, oh, wow, it's nothing. This just smacks of the most, "Hello, hello, fellow children," this is not this
I
is not
mean,
good.
the thing is too, Fortnite doesn't even have to do this.
Right.
Like it basically is successful. Like it or hate it, it's a successful franchise, and it was actually
Mhm.
successful on accident because it
Right,
wasn't supposed to be what it turned into.
right.
And credit to Epic Games for adapting to like what was happening because I think there was originally some kind of like base building
Uh-huh, that's why it
zombie
was
survival
Fortnite.
game.
Yeah, and that's why it's spelt the way that it is. It used to be a base builder all the way back when. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, way back when it started, it wasn't a success, and then
no,
like they did the battle royale, and that blew up, and that's all it is now, right?
yeah.
And they have like crossovers with all kinds of stuff. Like The Simpsons was just like a Fortnite thing,
Mhm.
and I think The Simpsons stands to benefit more as a property than Fortnite does because the
Right.
Fortnite's just that much more popular. Like
This the
this is a
sad
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the sad thing is I think that that's what they're assuming for, Kill Bill as well, is that this is the way to go and revitalize a property that hasn't had much going on with it, but for 20 years. But how's about you just put your movie out, the whole bloody affair,
Yeah,
and just let that speak for itself, because now, Quentin Tarantino, you had all this kind of, you know, I don't want to say that he's necessarily pretentious about his artwork and everything like that, but it did kind of it. He was
he is
of
a
the
bit up his own ass.
oh yeah, yeah,
Tarantino's a bit up his own ass.
yeah,
Especially
but
because like he thinks that he's like everyone's telling him is a genius. And I
mm,
I enjoy Tarantino movies, don't get me wrong, but his movies are movies about movies.
right,
So like a lot of the stuff that he's always essentially borrowed inspiration from pre-existing stuff.
right.
Even
He's
Reservoir
a
Dogs was taken
remixer.
from something else. And I like Reservoir Dogs, but let's not pretend, it's sort of like when Johnny Cash covered Nine Inch Nails,
Hmm.
Hurt,
Yep.
or Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus. I like Johnny Cash's cover, but Johnny Cash isn't claiming that he wrote the song.
Right.
So,
Right. True enough. Yeah. And that's the thing is, you know, he's not some immaculate great auteur, you know.
no,
He does stuff that it's capable, it's well put together.
it's well,
It's
yes,
it,
well
it's
put together. He's got good people in his stuff.
yeah. It's bloody good fun, and I do emphasize on the blood. That is Tarantino stuff. But yeah, this is just wow. This if you wanted to go and make your stuff into just fast food level entertainment, when it used to be kind of more of a sit down restaurant, because you're not, there's plenty of places that make a steak, and you don't have to be the first person to make a steak to make a good steak, and he did that. But this is just all right. Take your steak, grind it up, turn it into a
Yeah.
$3 burger, and what's the point? I do not get it at all.
Yeah, it's very strange. Well, all I think is, when I was a kid, they made animated kids shows about R-rated
Oh yeah,
properties.
they had
And
Rambo
I didn't
in the
understand, like I didn't
1980s.
get it. Like there was a Rambo show, and I'm like, so you made a cartoon about a guy with PTSD that came back from the Vietnam War and never recovered? Like this is a cartoon for kids? There
Yep.
was a Rambo cartoon. There was a RoboCop cartoon.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, like what? And I mean, there was a RoboCop, and there was a Conan the Barbarian cartoon. These were all very like original properties. Even if you're just looking at the books about Conan, they were very much not for kids. Like they were
Right.
super violent, but they did for some reason, and I'm sure there's other properties too that you guys will name that
Yeah.
are like R-rated properties that became like child friendly.
Yeah, I had the
I mean, in a
Rambo
way,
action figures.
The Ninja Turtles were they kind of got let's say nerfed because the
Mhm.
original comic books were kind of they were edgy and violent, but
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just weird.
I had
Go on, go ahead.
Rambo and RoboCop action figures as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they did it all, man. The
I didn't have
1980s.
them, but that was the point of the cartoons, though, was to
Yep.
sell the toys. So
Exactly.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like I said, like Fortnite's not desperate. They make money without even trying, but it is a very strange decision to do a Kill Bill thing. So I don't know. I'd like to know what you guys think. Let me ask you guys really quick. What's your most favorite Tarantino film and least favorite? Now, if you don't like any of them, that's fine too. I'm just curious, or at least like one of some of your the ones you like the most, or like properties
Mhm.
he was attached to, and some of the ones you like the least. Um, I'll go first if anything.
Sure.
So I enjoy Kill Bill. But I do think that there's a lot of let's say like moments that are questionable, like how the bride gets out of these situations. But I enjoyed Kill Bill. I think I still really like Reservoir Dogs. I think that's one of the top
Mhm.
ones because it's sort of grounded, and the performances are really good in it. And I like Pulp Fiction as like the sort of mainstream, like everyone, who's anyone likes that. But then there's the ones I don't like, and there's a couple of them. I did not care for Jackie Brown. I thought it was really boring and slow. I did not care for Django Unchained. I thought it
Mm.
was very
Pretentious.
self-serving and kind of self-righteous, and I just didn't like the tone of it. It was like very like over the top, like slavery bad and all that. And I also, in for related reasons, did not enjoy Inglorious Bastards because it was like a weird kind of like World War II wish fulfillment fever dream.
Mhm.
And again, the people in it are talented, but I didn't care for the narratives on either of those movies. Also, when it comes to anything that he's attached to, though, there's a movie that he didn't direct, but he wrote or was like one of the guys who wrote screenplay for that I think is underappreciated, and that's True Romance.
Oh yeah, yeah. True
True
Romance.
Romance is actually Tarantino's work. He also wrote a scene for these Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. That's a
Mhm.
really good movie. He's slightly attached to it, and Dusk Till Dawn, which I
Yeah.
think is just fun. So
Yeah.
I also didn't like Death Proof. I think that he took that too seriously, and I think Robert Rodriguez was having more fun with Grindhouse. You guys
Mhm.
remember that? So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say I am right there with Reservoir Dogs. I actually own a couple different versions of it
oh yeah,
throughout the years. Yeah, you just can't beat the you can't beat the interrogation scene. You know, the
Oh
music
yeah, no.
going.
I mean,
It's
that
just
put Mads. That well, not Mads. That put Michael Madsen on the map. That
right.
whole movie.
Yeah. So I mean that scene is just iconically, just indelibly. That is, that to me is top tier. I never, I once, because yeah, Jackie Brown, plotting, boring stuff.
Very boring.
I've only watched that maybe twice. I know once, and maybe again just because someone else had it on around the same time. But I haven't revisited that in decades. And after Kill Bill, both volumes, which I thought were perfectly fine. Uh, I kind of, I kind of just, I didn't,
You see Hateful Eight?
I did not watch Hateful Eight. I did not watch
I liked it. It was pretty good.
Inglorious
I didn't
Bastards.
watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
I did
though.
not
I
watch
have
once.
not
Yeah,
seen that one.
I've only seen, I guess, half of Quentin Tarantino's movie catalog, because it was just kind of like, all right, well, now he seems. It's kind of like, as you mentioned,
His
Nine Inch Nails
yeah.
earlier. I really like me some Nine Inch Nails. I do. All right, I'm actually wearing a Nine Inch Nails hoodie right now. But Trent Reznor, living in New Orleans for a number of years, having the Tate House door on his mansion and all that kind of stuff. That's macabre, crazy. Trent. Uh, Now he's like been living in LA for quite some time. It's going on well over a decade. He's got like a big old family, and he does all this stuff. It's just he's not. They put out Tron Ares as a Nine Inch Nails
Yeah.
album, and it's like, oh god, and he's just.
I'm sure.
He
Well,
doesn't.
I'm
He
sure the
doesn't
music
have
is
it.
good.
Like it's still all right. It's still perfectly serviceable. As it was
Yeah.
fine as a soundtrack if it were Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. But you go and you put the name Nine Inch Nails on there, I expect something to kind of, and it's just kind of plotting and whatnot. And that's kind of where I have Quentin Tarantino these days. Is yeah, he's still doing work, but I don't think that he's anything special at this point in time.
Well,
So,
I think that I don't know if he's gonna do anything else, but it's starting to get to the point where you kind of like see his way of doing things.
mhm.
There was a lot of talk about him doing like a science fiction movie.
Right.
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, let me see some of your guys' comments, and then we're gonna move on to the next story. Like I said, like what I'm basically landing on is that Kill Bill is a weird thing for a game that a lot of children play. I think
Right.
it's just really weird. So I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so let's see. Gabriel says Attack on Titan ended years ago. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it did, because I remember Allison like was really into it, and then it ended, and she was really angry because she
Mhm.
didn't like the way it ended. Um, Norwegian Black Templar says, when your IP gets a cameo in Fortnite, you know you've sold your soul. That
Pretty
isn't
much.
that, but like Battlefield, is it Battlefield or Call of Duty that's doing like the Fortnite thing, and they put American
I
Dad
think
and like
I think it's COD. I know one of them had Beavis and Butthead in there.
yeah, Beavis and Butthead, yeah.
Yeah,
That's sad.
yeah.
Mr. 0303 says Fortnite is the ultimate slot machine. Gabriel says Repo was in Fortnite in October. Yes, and Repo, by the way, they won an award at the Golden Joystick for I think it was like best what do you call it? What shit, why am I early access game. It was like best
Yeah.
early access game. And yeah, Repo is still doing like crazy numbers, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it was a great game.
St. Hugo says, thing is, one can't sell member berries to empty brains with empty wallets. Those are targeted to the adults that are playing Fortnite. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's the only way it'll work, because you're right, kids don't have money. Although, Roblox, I guess if they put Kill Bill in Roblox, that would be like maybe that
That would be
really
the only
bad.
thing more ludicrous.
Yeah, the only thing more ludicrous. Mr. 0303 says, I didn't like Kill Bill 2. Too many shark jumps. Mean her escaping the coffin. That's the one that comes off the top. And also her learning the special technique to defeat,
Oh, the
Bill at the
five-finger
end,
death
which was kind of
punch.
like an underwhelming fight. But I mean, David Carradine was like in his 60s or something. So I guess they couldn't have done like a real fight scene.
Would have
Let's
a great
see.
soundtrack though. Love. Love the
Yeah.
soundtrack to both.
Dan Silvers says favorite is probably Kill Bill Part 2, least might be Django. Then he says, I have a soft spot for Death Proof because I went to the Grindhouse double feature in theaters and it was an experience. Planet Terror was the better of the two, though. Do you guys know that Death Proof was
What up, Dan?
Death Proof was Tarantino? Okay, so here, just so you guys know, this is why I'm losing my, let's say, devotion to Tarantino movies. I mean, I have a long time ago, but like when I realized that it's not just that he likes to film women's feet, which he obviously does, and that's kind of weird to me. It's off-putting. But like he was dating Uma Thurman when they made the Kill Bill movies. And if you watch the end of the second one, he puts basically, it's like carving, Quentin and Uma on like a tree with a heart. It's at the end of the credits, and it's so sad because they're not together. They broke up after that or whatever. I don't know if they were married. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
And then what did Tarantino do? He started like dating or courting her stunt double. And her stunt double was this Australian woman. I don't know her name, but she was in Death Proof. She was like the lead chick in that movie. And so like it was all, and then of course they like, kill like Kurt Russell's character after a chase. I think they beat him to death or something. And it's really underwhelming. I mean, I think that, like you said, Planet Terror was way better.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion. It was just having fun. But Robert Rodriguez has his own sort of tropes that he does. Like he likes cutting people's limbs off and attaching weapons. He likes to do that. I don't know why, but he does. He has a tendency to make cyborgs out of everybody. But yeah, like that was like a thing that Tarantino was doing. He was like trying to make this Australian stunt double person happen, and he used Death Proof to do it because he wanted to fuck her or fuck her feet or whatever he was into. So it was just like, and I can't look at that movie and not just like, that's just in my mind. It's like he wrote the film around her in the same way that he seemed to have written the film of, what's the other one I was thinking about? He wrote Inglourious Bastards around basically a scene where Eli Roth, like unloads a Tommy gun into Hitler for like several minutes because he wanted that scene really bad. He wanted to see that, like he wanted it to, I don't know, like have some alternate history where, Hitler's killed by, basically Jewish soldiers because Eli Roth is Jewish and he plays a Jewish character and he's like the Jew bear, the bear Jew or whatever they called him. So like he was doing this satisfying thing, and the same thing with Django Unchained, where he really wanted, the movie was written around Jamie Foxx killing Samuel L. Jackson, the house Negro. So like it's and because it's so obvious what's going on, I think it just loses its it just doesn't feel as authentic anymore.
Right.
So that's my issue. That's why those movies
a little bit stilted and convoluted, I think.
Yeah, it's convoluted, it's trite, it's kind of like, yeah, I get it, like Hitler's a bad guy, I guess. But like we know, but we don't need this. It's a little bit on the nose. Like even in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I guess they changed the story, the actual history of the Manson murders, because that's when the film takes place. And so like apparently I don't know for sure because I've never seen the movie, but DiCaprio and Pitt, like they thwart the Manson family murders. They like save Sharon Tate or whatever, and like the people. So it's like it changes the story, and it's like, well, okay, but that's not what happened.
Somehow we actually managed to get.
As a matter of fact, those murders, they changed the country. Like they were a huge deal, and if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be even talking about things like MK Ultra and like the stuff that Charles Manson, the stuff that he was been through, if it weren't for those murders. So it's like he's kind of like making it into a silly cartoon. I don't know.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I am just surprised that we managed to actually get two Tate references, and now I guess I'm making a third one into the show today. Because I was talking when I mentioned Nine Inch Nails, the door. Tate? Yeah, Sharon. Yeah. So like when they filmed or when they recorded Broken EP for Nine Inch Nails, they did it in the mansion, right? And they ended up taking the door off of the mansion, and when he moved to New Orleans, he had the
Roman Polanski's mansion. Wasn't it his house?
I guess
I don't
so,
know if it was.
but
Maybe it wasn't. I thought it was.
but either way, the door from the house, specifically like Piggy, was the song that you know. So yeah, weird stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's just, again, he does this wish fulfillment thing,
Yeah.
and I think that like, I don't know, I have less respect for that. And I
Mhm.
noticed that this is an issue with a lot of directors. I watched Frankenstein, and I made a video about it, the Del Toro Frankenstein. And
Mhm.
I used to like Guillermo del Toro, but I'm kind of getting over him too because he has this thing. They have this thing that they have to keep doing, and they can't help it. And Del Toro's thing is he fetishizes monsters. Like he wants to fuck them. I don't know what that's about. Like he's got like mommy issues or daddy issues or something because he makes all of the fathers in his stories abusive assholes, like
Right.
almost all the time. And the original book of Frankenstein, the father wasn't that at all. He was like, like a really generous, kind, public servant, a,
Mhm.
a good father, very charitable, and he just threw that out and gave him like an asshole dad that abused his son, which is why Frankenstein turns to science. It's just kind of grating. I'm just kind of sick of it. But anyway, let's look at your comments and we're gonna move on. So Shadowclaw Prime says, "Oh yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn was pretty good. Yeah, it was definitely two movies though, kind of like Grindhouse, the same thing.
Mhm.
Um, and you know what? I will say George Clooney's some of his best work. I don't like the guy; he's a prick, but he was good in that, and he was good in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and that's
Mhm.
basically it. So, um, Saltpeter Taffy says, "I love Kill Bill. Tarantino is a maker of scenes more than a maker of movies, and Kill Bill has most of my favorite from him. Yeah, it has a lot of great scenes. It's
Yeah.
definitely like you can watch his films in just like scenes from his films.
Mhm.
Like in Pulp Fiction, I like the scene where Christopher Walken talks about the watch.
Yeah.
I think so. It's a great scene, but it's because it's Christopher Walken.
Right.
Um, all right. Shadow Claw says one of the few I haven't seen by Tarantino is The Hateful Eight. I like The Hateful Eight, but only because Kurt Russell. And I was just saying this before the show. If Kurt Russell's in it, I want to watch it. I love Kurt Russell. He's great. He's so charismatic, and he is good in that movie. And also, Jennifer Jason Leigh is also really good. Like she's good in everything. That's an underrated actress right there. Jennifer Jason Leigh. One of my favorite roles that she was in is the Hudsucker Proxy.
Mhm.
Everybody's great in that movie. It's so good. That's my favorite Coen Brothers film. I actually don't like a lot of Coen Brothers movies because they're also kind of like weirdly, I don't know, like they're spiritually empty and hollow. Like No Country for Old Men,
Mhm.
and there was one I think it's called A Serious Man, and like those kind. I just don't relate to that, but I did enjoy the Hudsucker Proxy, and I've never seen Fargo, but I'd like to watch it sometime.
Fargo's a
Um,
good one.
yeah,
The
Fargo.
more, yeah, the more they kind of allow for, just weird, absurd stuff. Those are the ones that I tend to prefer. I think
What
there's
about
even
Big Lebowski?
Lebowski. Yeah, clearly. I mean, I'm the dude in the Matrix. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. There's even, if I remember correctly, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I believe there was a western that they did.
I Am the
Uh,
Walrus.
right.
I Am the
Uh,
Walrus.
Right, but yeah, there's a western they did, God, who the hell was it? I can't remember the name of it right now, but that's actually really good, and it's kind of a comedy, dudes getting hung and, like, they shoot the noose. God, I can't remember the name of it right now,
Hmm.
but it's from about 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Um, yeah, maybe even a little bit older than that, but yeah. Coen Brothers, I Coen Brother movies actually to me, have a little bit more to them than Quentin Tarantino, since we're talking about the
Absolutely.
2, yeah,
Yeah.
so
I agree. Like I said, Tarantino's movies are movies about movies.
yeah.
So there is he's really good at the like say, it's got a lot of sizzle, but there isn't
Mhm.
a ton of steak, you
Right,
know?
right.
So okay, Gabriel says Tarantino wrote the screenplay for Natural Born Killers, but was significantly altered. I'd never seen. I did watch Natural Born Killers when it came out, but I was probably too young to get what was going on, and I didn't enjoy it. There's something about it really disturbed me at the time.
Right.
Let me see. Dan Silvers says the man will still single-handedly take over a festival concert when every other band drops out for 3 days straight. Credit where it's due. Some on Nine Inch Nails. All right, cool. Battle Claw said, yeah, I've seen Hateful Eight is good.
Yeah,
that was solid.
While it's being mentioned, I suppose, because Nine Inch Nails is in one of those all-encompassing Ticketmaster deals right now, they are planning on being at Coachella as 9 Inch Noice. Because they're touring with Boys Noise, and so for them to be able to do that show because it's outside of Ticketmaster's domain, they are so because Dan mentioned the festival, so yeah, I am interested in that to some degree. But yeah.
Gabriel says Brad Pitt's character also beats up Bruce Lee because Tarantino doesn't like him. Yes, I remember hearing about that too. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, he's just like he puts this weird wish fulfillment stuff in there, and it's like, yeah, I get that Bruce Lee is probably like overrated because he is more Hollywood than martial arts, but I think people like it's a little disenchanting to do that, you know. And it's funny too because he puts like, you know, in the both Kill Bill movies, he put Gordon Liu in there, who is also a martial arts film legend, but like more of a, you know, like master choreographer than anything else, right? So it's weird. I don't know. I mean, like if it weren't for Bruce Lee, they wouldn't have mainstream martial arts movies in the West. Bruce Lee made it mainstream, or at least like, you know, he made it popular. So I just don't get it. But anyway. And then Mr. 303 says everything with Kurt Russell is a must watch. And then Zarang says, so that's why we got the story we did in Blade 2. Oh well, I like Nissa. Yeah, but Del Toro has to do that. But it's okay. Like I said, I like Blade 2 as well. I'm not sure which one is better, Blade 1 or Blade 2. I'm like they have their ups and downs. Like Blade 2 has some questionable CGI, and Blade 1 also has some
Blade 1 definitely, yeah, but also, it was 1999, so I'm willing to give it a little bit of a pass. But
yeah, but I think Blade 1 had better fight scenes. Yeah, and I like there was just like I don't know, and I like that Blade 1 was a little bit more like grounded. Blade 2 was a little bit fantastical, like it was like another world. And
notice how we're not mentioning Blade 3 though.
Well, look, Blade 3 is not on the par of the first two movies, but it's not as bad as people say. It's kind of like it's sort of like Spider-Man 3 where, you know, there's like stuff you like and then there's stuff you leave out, you know. And Spider-Man 3 was a victim. I think Blade 3 was also a victim of studio interference stuff. Spider-Man 3 was mostly the studio saying, Sam Raimi, you got to put Venom in here. You got to put Venom in here. And he's like, no, I didn't want to do that. He wanted to do, I think he wanted to originally do Sandman and somebody else, like Mysterio or something. And but they were like, no, you got to do Venom. You got to do Venom. So he did, but he kind of phoned it in because he's like, fuck these guys, right? And so I get that. And I think with Blade 3, they were like, well, we need a woman in this. So, you know, and also Blade was like, not Blade, but Wesley Snipes was being, apparently, according to Patton Oswalt, Wesley Snipes was being very much like a prima donna, and he was like really hard to work with because he was like, I'm the man, right? And maybe, but like considering what was left, I didn't hate Blade 3. I think what I really liked about Blade 3 is actually Parker Posey.
Yeah.
That was what I liked about Blade 3. Was Parker Posey is a lot of fun. And she's a great actress. I like her in a lot of stuff. You know, everything else is just like whatever. What's her name? The woman who played Whistler's daughter. I can't remember.
I remember Ryan Reynolds was in there, and so was Triple H.
Jennifer Beals. I think Jennifer Beals. Right?
Probably. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he was funny, but Ryan Reynolds plays himself in everything. So it was just Ryan Reynolds in that movie. So,
right. He was doing proto Deadpool. Yeah.
He was, right? Yeah. But anyway, it was a little bit less gay though than his Deadpool. Deadpool's way more gay. Anyway, we got to move on to the next thing, but thanks guys for that. Oh, Gabriel says Danny John Jules, Cat from Red Dwarf, is briefly in Blade 2. Is he?
Oh, wow. Well, I'll
Well,
have
I didn't
to
know that.
I'll have to bring that up tomorrow on Will's show, because we are currently, as I mentioned here, we're in season 7 right now.
Yeah.
Doing reviews of all those. Yeah. So I'll
All
have
right.
to I'll have to mention that. I was unaware. I'll have to go and double check for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know what you guys think about this in the comments. I see Zaring says Wesley Snipes hated the script. That's why he was as he was during production. Apparently, Snipes wasn't the only one who hated the script. They could have brought Abigail Whistler and have her work with her father. I hated that they killed Whistler. I really did. I hated that. But they kind of they killed him off in the first movie.
Sam Elliott seems like he dies every single movie.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah.
But like, dude, Chris Christopherson is the man. Like, I just want to see him.
Oh yeah, it is Chris Christopherson. Why not? I always whatever. It is Chris Christopherson. Every time I always think Sam Elliott, because
Sam Elliott. No. Chris Christopherson's the beard.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott's the mustache.
That's right.
Very important distinctions.
That's right. Have they ever done a movie together? Because that would be the ultimate.
Dude, they must have. Chris Christopherson is a country singer, right?
Or
was.
Yeah.
He was a musician, actually. Kind of like what's the guy? You ever see Mystery Men?
Oh yeah.
Or you ever see Mystery Men? It's like
yeah, I got it on
Ben
DVD.
Stiller. The guy who does the Tom Waits. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Tom Waits. He's another interesting character and also a musician. Very cool. I like him too. He played he was in the 13th Warrior. He played the king, I think, that like sends the Vikings on their quest. Very cool movie. I love the 13th Warrior. But anyway, we're really
diverging.
Let's get into the next thing. So you guys know I love stories. That's why. So R.I.P. Chris Christopherson. Yes, R.I.P. the legend. All right. So you guys probably heard about this game that everyone's talking about called Dispatch, which is like an episodic superhero adventure from former Telltale developers. So if you guys enjoyed like the Walking Dead Telltale games or A Wolf Among Us or some of those other Telltale games, a lot of the guys that used to work there made this game called Dispatch. And it's basically like a story-driven narrative adventure. And when I saw like the trailers for this, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be like, DI, woke, like, gay, trans, whatever, because it is, first of all, anything narrative driven, I'm like super suspicious of. Like, it's a story game, right? And I'm like, I've played enough David Cage, and I saw like, what's the one with the lesbians in it? That's like, the one? It's like the fucking, it's like a story game, and you're
Life is Strange.
Yeah, Life is Strange, like that. Like, I was like, this is gonna be that. Well, with superheroes in it, or it's going to be like The Boys, where it's like very subversive. Like this is like a thing that everybody does. Everything's got to be subversive now, right? I mean, even the mainstream stuff is doing it. So I didn't really like pay attention. There was a demo, and I think I started the demo, but then I kind of like lost interest because it just wasn't for me. Like I don't care for those kinds of games where you just make these like decisions. And Life is Tumblr.
Yeah, right. They got another game coming out for that's nominated for one of the Gamer Awards, one of the Keeleys, Rage and Bloom. We've discussed it here before. I think we were one of the only places that actually even brought it up when it was first coming out, because we were talking about it on Will's one day. He's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, oh, you guys, you have never seen. You guys prepare for cringe. So and if you think you're prepared for it, and you think that you're prepared for it, you are not.
Yeah. Oh, Bloom, isn't it Bloom and Range? I think it's Bloom and Rage.
Bloom and Rage, or
same difference, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like Dustborn. Like it's the same kind of thing, right? It even has like an art style that looks, or like Invincible, which that's what I saw when I saw the game. I thought of Invincible, and I watched, I think, the first season or two of that show, and I just didn't like it. It's a lot of people tell me it isn't subversive, but I felt that it was. And it also just made really bad story choices that I hated, so I didn't get into it. So I wasn't particularly interested in this. And then the game comes out, and it's actually very popular. It tops the charts with 220,000 concurrent Steam peaks. It's Game of the Year nods from The Witcher's director. So it basically gets a nod from the Witcher 3 director, and praise for reviving choice-driven narratives via Aaron Paul's Mecha Man leading villain rehab squad Z-Team. So you play a character named Mecha Man, and he's like leading a villain rehabilitation squad. It's kind of like, the Thunderbolts, okay? Featuring branching romances, dispatch minigames, and themes of redemption over incarceration. It earned 9.7 out of 10 averages for animation, voice work, and emotional investment, though some ranted about mid-game tone pivot to Invisigal's arc, subverting protagonist Robert's revenge plot. Season 2 buzz exploded post-finale, with devs heartbroken over Blonde Blazer villain theories, despite her wholesome intent, and hoping for more after falling in love with characters. Aaron Paul teased plans, while ad hoc eyed spin-offs amid fan pitches for East Coast squads and recruits. So there were some DEI gripes. People were like, because there was a lot of diversity in the characters. And then I saw that someone that I respect to a degree, Arch. You guys know Arch Warhammer, but now he's just called Arch because he can't put Warhammer in the name of his channel anymore because Games Workshop threatened to sue him if he did. so he just changed to Arch, even though his whole channel was all about like Warhammer 40K and Warhammer Fantasy lore. And that was the bulk of his videos, which probably drove a lot of sales to Games Workshop, but they didn't care because they didn't like his politics. And he made this like pretty like, in-depth video saying that he played the game and that he liked a lot of it because even though there were like, you could say on the surface level, like things that would set up red flags about the characters, being like DEI or like the plot itself being kind of subversive and morally relative and stuff. He said it didn't actually turn out to be that way, at least not in his playthrough, and that everyone was authentically written and they were likable, and that meant that, this is like how you do what he says, how you do diversity right. And he was like, well, we'll see what they do because this is episodic. So there's like going to be a episode 2, coming out, and I guess it'll continue. This is like what they did with The Walking Dead. Right. And I was like, well, I don't know, like this we'll see, but I have my concerns.
Could be the frog in the pot.
Apparently,
Could be like the frog in the pot. They'll raise the heat slowly.
Well, maybe, but here's the thing that I think is the reason why I'm bringing this up. So I think that, like, okay, so there were some gripes. There was diversity in the game. I don't think that's a big deal. No. Because if that's your standard, then like that's going to exclude basically like anything. Like Resident Evil will be excluded, Right. Right. So that's not really, or Street Fighter will be excluded because you have characters from all over the world. So that's not really a problem in and of itself. It's just how it's implemented. And then there are ties to people who worked on, or like, I guess, how does it worked, but like are part of the whole Critical Role thing, like Matt Mercer and stuff. And we know Matt Mercer's like absolutely woke, but I don't really care if he's woke. I don't care about his politics. I just want him to shut up and do the voice work, because otherwise he's like in everything, right? Like he's like the guy. He's like one of those like Troy Baker's in everything. You can't really like get away from it. But anyway, it fizzled due to the quality of the storytelling. So the gripes went away, but recent interviews have sparked some fears. The devs of this game mocked players' cynical deconstructionist expectations, urging less subversion, prompting backlash, like they'll Joker to it with darker politics ruining the feel-good heroism. And here's the reason why, and I thought it was really interesting, because this reminds me of what happened with Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3, it's definitely got like stuff in it that's troubling, but because of the freedom of choice given to the player, you don't have to participate in any of that stuff. So you don't have to fuck any bears to proceed the story. You don't have to make a gay character. You don't have to have sex with any of the people in your party. You can turn them all down and be like, we're focused on the mission, and you can do all of that, right? and you can kill anybody you want. Like if you know, Astarion or Lae'zel is giving you too much, you know, if they're like bothering you too much, just kill them off, and then you can finish the game. You can get a hireling to replace them. You don't even need, you know, that character. So, you know, people were saying like this means it's not woke, but then developers later on, they released they did like a study or something, and the devs at Larian Studios were like, oh, you know, we just realized that, you know, despite all of the work that we put into allowing players to make like a character as diverse as they want with vitiligo and like all, you know, make like an elf with an Asian face or like a dwarf with a black face or whatever, despite all of that, everyone just made a straight white male with blonde hair and blue eyes, you know? Like this is the majority of players just played a human man.
That's right.
White.
I am in every video game.
Yeah,
I am default character number 7.
And the guy he was surprised and disappointed a little bit, but mostly surprised. I wasn't surprised because I think that, like, if anything, if people make a character in a game like Baldur's Gate, like a D&D game, if they make a character of a different race, it's a different fantasy race, like dwarf, elf, half elf, whatever. And it's for the purposes of getting like the benefits. Like, oh, this race gives you this, I'm gonna take this, right? It's not like I want to be seen. Like, they're not narcissists. Like, gamers are generally not up their own ass. Like, they want to enjoy a game, they like the mechanics, and so they get into that, and maybe they get into the aesthetics, right? And so the developers sort of showed their hand when they made that express that. And I brought all that stuff up about Baldur's Gate because the same thing happened with Dispatch. So what they have discovered is the Dispatch devs want you to be jerks more often. Stop being so nice. So more than 2 million people have played Dispatch, the narrative-driven superhero game from Ad Hoc. That's countless millions of choices made across every run with dozens of variations and scenarios only a handful of people might have seen so far. Now that the finale is wrapped up and people have spent more time with the game, Polygon asked Dispatch narrator, director Pierre Choret and creative director Nick Herman which choice stats surprised them the most. It wasn't whether folks out of cut Coop or Sonar, though they were not expecting more people would cut Sonar than Coop, or which romance they opted for. So like that wasn't the thing that surprised them. The biggest surprise was just how damn nice most of you were being. Very often people pick the most boring thing, Charette jokes. Everyone wants to be nice, so a lot of times we're trying to keep it entertaining for them, but I'm so disappointed in so many choices. Charette admits some of the incongruity between what Ad Hoc hoped for, a broad range of good, bad, and middling outcomes, and what players chose, almost always the polite or good choice, comes from challenges inherent in making games like Dispatch. The protagonist here has a distinct personality that may be out of sync with yours, and he's not just here as an empty vessel for you to fill, but that's on purpose. Robert is a character, Charette says. You role play as Robert, and this is going to piss some people off. But this isn't about you. It's about you and Robert, about you role playing this type of person. So they're not thrilled with the fact that most people who played through the game, you get to choose to be an asshole or not. Most people have chosen not to, right?
White man
and
bad.
They're like, and now they're trying to do this thing where it's like, well, wait, it's not about you. It's about you and this fictional character. It's like, no, but you're letting me control the character. I'm going to do what I want.
Right.
And this is the thing about these narrative games that I think is interesting, is that in general, people are going to pick, like, gamers are good people and they want like a good outcome. They want to be the heroes of their story. And so it's not that the game was trying to be subversive, but it's that gamers are not interested in subversion. Right. So if you give them free choice, they won't pick it. So anyway, that was just what I thought was really interesting about that. So
indeed,
there's a concern now that when season 2 comes out, they might
have a mask off moment.
The other shoe is gonna drop, I think. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but
I can't say terribly too much. I know this game exists and everything like that. You actually gave me more because I was kind of interested in it, but now I'm just kind of like, you know what? I've got The Wolf Within, part 1 and 2 if I really wanna play some kind of narrative game. I don't have to spend any money. I got that. Because yeah, this does kinda sound like more white man bad, and how dare you not understand white man bad?
yeah.
So, yeah, that's if that's the course they wanna
Well,
take
I
with
don't
it.
know what I think they because the thing is when you make these narrative games, you have to write like every single
Mhm.
like branching, like
Oh,
all these
yeah,
different
yeah, and I have no
branch.
problem with
You have to write all of that, and then people don't even pick it,
right,
so they don't see what you've done. Like they
right.
don't see the work you've, and I think that's why they're a little bit
Oh, yeah,
butthurt.
but that's
Yeah,
the thing though is all right, so it's when you make these morality games, based on your ethical choices and this and that, like the way you're viewed, they've done 20 years ago, that was all the rage, right? Everybody had like oh, what is your renown or what's your, like every place you went to, people would run from you or run to you based on your merits, right? And but every game is going to have, as many things are in this life, they are binary. So that you're always going to find that people are going to play the game either more one way or the other when you only have two options. And you as a designer, you know, uh, this is one of those things where, you know, um, I when we did our game design project, I did the narrative design stuff for it, the story, the world building, all that kind of that, all that. But all that was secondary. I always say to people, it's like you could have the greatest story in the world, but people are going to give a shit about your flow state more than anything. I love Metal Gear, love it for all of its weird, convoluted insanity, all the shit that it's getting into that you can't say out in public, so they put it in fiction. But a lot of people just play it because they like the way the game plays and they don't even pay attention to the story. So, you have to be able to divorce yourself from certain aspects when you put a game out for the audience. It's for the audience, not for you. And if you
yeah,
can't learn
yeah.
that, then you should probably go do something else. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and to be fair, Polygon was probably trying to stir the pot because that was a
Mm,
Polygon
true
article where
enough.
they talked to that guy, and it's odd. The journos they want to create tensions like, oh, what do you think MAGA's gonna think about
Right,
this?
right, right.
And I'm
Is
sure
this
that
the
most of
most
the time
gay
they're just like, I
movie?
don't care,
Kind
I
of
just
like
want to
that.
sell the
Yeah.
game.
It's like the dude from Variety asking very pointed questions and
Yeah,
trying to elicit a
what are the
response. Yeah.
chuds gonna say?
Right.
You have a
Right.
black woman in this game. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like I think it's interesting, but I'm not surprised. I suspect that the other shoe is going to drop, and unfortunately, some people who are thinking that this was not going to happen, they're probably wrong because what we have to understand is like, let's say I put it like this: the baseline of woke ideology is very normal.
Mhm.
So like there's a baseline assumption that most people have that
Right.
diversity is just good, right? Like like feminism is just good on the basic level. Like most people just think that that's normal. They don't think that that there's anything wrong with that, and so it's going to come out in their work as
Right.
by default. And I don't think that there were necessarily. I mean, there probably were some people that were like kind of activist minded, but it doesn't require a staff full of activists to put this stuff in because most people are just doing it like they don't think about it.
Mhm.
It's like the water they swim in. Um, but sometimes it is like obviously purposeful. So I'm not surprised by this. I that's why I didn't get the game. I expected that, and also I'm just not into these kinds of games. Like
True enough.
I'm the kind of person that will play through it once and probably never again. And I probably would go all good guy stuff. Probably because the reason why I would do it is because I would like to see if they would try to undermine my choices in some way. Like
Mhm.
if you take all the good guy choices, if you go down the good path, will the game itself step in and say you're doing this wrong? And
Right.
we're gonna like make things harder for you as a result, or do something to like kind
Right.
of undermine what you have done,
When they get to
right?
the
And
next chapter, they'll have some kind of
yeah,
opening cinematic that goes and takes all your choices and just, throws them to the
throws
side
them
and is like,
away. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like, "No, this is who you are. You're white man bad, don't you
yeah.
understand?" Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I don't know what do you guys think? Let me know. Let me look at some of your comments. All right. So Mr. 033 says BG3 is definitely woke. Sweet Baby Inc. consulted. Yes, I know. I mean, it was obvious from the way that character creation works. So
Yeah.
Norwegian says, I don't have to make myself in character creators because, like John, I too am default character 7.
Yeah.
St. Hugo says, you're playing the game wrong. Lol. Never heard that before. Hey, yeah. Why aren't you playing the game the way we designed it? Dan Silvers says, on first playthrough, devs have to assume 100% of players will pick good guy options because they're the good guy. Second playthroughs are the renegade playthrough, and 50% plus of players will not do a replay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to be okay with that. I think that's
Yeah.
sort of like a general limitation of these kind of like heavily story-driven games.
Yep.
I think that a game that has choices but is a game is probably the best way to go. Like Mass Effect, right? Like
Mhm.
Mass Effect has choices, or like Dragon Age Origins, but you're playing the game. You know, like probably most of it is gameplay. I don't know. I never played Mass Effect, but
Yeah.
I would assume that most of it is game, and then the choices are just like done at various stages of the game. So
Right. Kind of like Cyberpunk. No matter what you choose, it's all
yeah,
gonna end, and it's all gonna end badly, no matter what.
Cyberpunk
Like,
does a pretty good job with the dialogue choices, actually.
yeah.
Like there is, yeah, I mean, like none of the there are plenty of missions where the outcomes can be about as good as can be expected
Right.
for
Right. But
that
there
kind
are
of
no
setting.
happy endings in Night City. Is
Not
ultimately
really.
what it's
Everything's like bittersweet at best, you know.
right.
Yeah, yeah. But that's but like you knew that going in. It's like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, it's
like Fallout.
dystopian
I
future
mean,
hellscape.
like like
Mhm.
Fallout, does that have like happy endings per se? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Saltpeter Taffy says non-player insert characters are ontology, and ontology is haram. These devs should not be surprised at this reaction from the audience they cultivated. Yes. Zarang says if they want people to pick more a-hole options, there has to be reasons for it. It
Right.
makes me think of KOTOR and KOTOR 2. I chose more dark side options in the latter than the former because I didn't feel like a heel and could actually role play. Unfortunately,
Right.
the fact that dark side choices warped the look of my character held me back of fully embracing the dark side in KOTOR 2. Huh.
Right.
I
That
never
and
played those games, but I do have Knights of the Old Republic 1.
oh,
Um,
Knights of the
hmm?
Old Republic 1 is more of a Jedi story. And then in Knights of the Old Republic 2, like it's nonstop seduction. Everyone around you is a Sith, basically. And so it's just all about like how can you actually remain decent when everyone that you
Oh,
know yeah, so it's really kind of interesting in that. And now if you get on PC, you can actually get because it was rushed out the door and didn't have time to be fully cooked. But
ah,
people have done the work, and you can now get
but I've
mods for it.
stepped in and cooked it.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's yeah. This is one of my favorite RPGs. I actually prefer that style of RPG because right now, as I mentioned to you earlier, I got a copy of Expedition 33 gifted to me, so I am playing through it dutifully. Thanks gaming season it is,
There you
and
go.
yeah,
You don't
and
want to
so
deal with lesbian space witches? Watch Star Wars, the holiday special, and play Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2
right.
game, right?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I much prefer that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna play through Expedition 33. I just don't think I'm gonna have quite the love for it that everyone else does in terms of all the
Mm,
mechanics and everything. Like, it's not normally the way that I you know. But
yeah,
Knights of the Old Republic,
it's like turn-based, a little bit
right,
like
right.
what's the game that Persona 5? It's like
Mhm.
that, isn't it?
Yeah, to
I
some
don't
degree,
know.
I believe.
It looked interesting to me, but
But yeah, I'm having a good time with it. But
okay.
I'm more interested in it for the story more so than probably anything else. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
it is one of those things though where certain games, if you do the writing correctly, your choices should always be somewhat kind of ambiguous. Like you can only deviate so much in
Yeah.
games, you know.
All right, I got a Rumble rant that I forgot to read from before
Mhm.
from Nova Fan for $1. Thank you, Nova Fan. And he says, "Lefty game devs believes gamers are constantly hostile for no good reason. Dispatch when gamers choose kindness. Wait, that's illegal." All right. Let's move on to the last story.
Indeed.
And we're going to talk about the Great Rebellion. Sad news, friends. Cult game Cyberpunk roguelike, the Great Rebellion Edition 2084, which they worked really hard to self-censor and to make it like they get rid of the anti-woke satire, or at least do their best to like downplay it. Even like taking into consideration that this was being released in a country that probably doesn't even have the full context of what's in the game. So just trying to release it purely on the basis of it being a game.
Right.
And despite all of that work that they put in, it was still yanked from Nintendo's eShops worldwide, including Japan, just one day before its November 21st launch, despite passing lot checks, approvals, and live store pages. The toned-down version stripped Stone Toss references and Soros-like bosses to appease Nintendo, who knew of the original Steam hit from day one via the dev application. US EU delistings hit first, with Japan region-free, English-supported, briefly surviving before the same vague, brand-damaging content axe fell without specifics. Outrage exploded from anti-censorship circles, with devs like Yorch Torch Games and Grums fueling boycott calls against Nintendo's scam of indie devs, while Cult Games creator Roland, post-cancer battle, baby incoming, pivots to Patreon and Steam for survival amid financial hits. Next titles like Serena States teased. Nintendo silence amplifies memes and podcasters decrying Seattle-based NOE, that's Nintendo of America, the Nintendo of Europe wokeness versus Japan's tolerance, boosting the uncut PC version's overwhelmingly positive Steam glow. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's gone from there too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the guys at Cult Games, this is the only thing I'll say about this. Hopefully, what they do, and I think this is a good idea, is for them to give us like create a demo and put the demo out and push the demo like crazy. I think that's the best way, because it is a good game, but I think people, demos are the way to move it. So unfortunately,
everyone I know that has gotten the game in front of them has loved it. Just so I think that was one of the best things from our interview with them last week was the mention of making a demo. I think that is ultimately the best thing they could do at this point in time. That, and as annoying as it is with the whole Nintendo fiasco, making them waste time and effort,
like popular ones,
wasting all that time and effort and investment that they did. The uncensored, unvarnished game is the one that has been out for over a year now. So, support it there and actually get the thing.
It just goes to show it doesn't pay to censor your shit if you're just going to get banned anyways.
Yep.
Because it was a lot of work for nothing. I mean,
right.
I guess like
it's a humiliation play almost, it's annoying as completely.
There's the self-censorship doesn't help. It's almost like apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, other than I think them making a demo would be a good idea. I think in the future, what I think needs to be thought about is you want to make a game that says something about your beliefs, because I think you put your values into your artwork, like whether it's a story or a piece of art or a video game or whatever. Your belief system should be in there. Otherwise, you're not going to feel fulfilled in creating it. But I think there's a way to do it without, without making it, I don't know, like obvious to people who oppose your ideas that you're doing something against them. Because I think that's where the resistance comes from. Obviously, like that, was it like a Seattle-based or California-based Nintendo of America? That's where I think it started. I think they saw it and they were like, we got to cancel these guys.
Oh yeah.
And Bob the Darkest Fairy says Nintendo would have to check every update, easier to keep it out. I guess if you're going to put it back in, but I don't think these guys had any intention of doing that.
No, they made a specific edition for, it
was a lot of work.
That's why it's called Edition 2084, because it's a nod to 1984, where everything has been
everything is controlled.
Everything is controlled, including this game. But they were doing it because ultimately they're invested in their families and all this kind of stuff, and they thought that it would be good for business. But instead, now here we are, a week removed, from the conversation we had with them last week, and now the one saving grace that you could still go through all these hoops and get it through the Japanese eShop, and yay, glad that they haven't made it completely unattainable for people that would be interested in showing that level of support. Now it's just all gone, and I don't see a reason why they would put out this version anywhere else, because the superior version is the one that already exists previous to this. So wasted effort.
Yeah, but like I said, I think this is a great game because of the memes that are in it, and it is going to be on Steam. It's also on GOG.
Yep.
And I think them putting out a demo would be like a good idea. Yeah. Also, contacting any like streamers or people that have like a big enough platform. Like I could stream it here, but I don't really have. Nobody watches my streams. Right. Like I just do them for myself. Except for this one. This is the one that gets the most people watching. And I'm not going to play video games while John is sitting there. So. Like, but if somebody like somebody with a larger platform like Arch or Stuttering Craig or Grums or somebody would stream the game to sort of like, you don't even have to like stream the whole thing. You could just do like a video review and show gameplay. I think Mentis Wave was promoting it a little bit when it was first coming out. That might help, but I think like looking towards the future, they have some other projects in the works right now. I think that moving away from the kind of I don't know, like it's maybe it being obvious is an issue, is what I'm saying. Because what I think happened with this game is that the Nintendo of America people, they saw it and they basically tattled. They were like, "Oh, these guys are Nazi chuds or whatever."
Right,
They figured it out.
The Stonecutter DLC probably was.
Yeah, and they basically said this, this is going to damage your reputation if you don't do something about it right now. And Nintendo of America did, and Nintendo of Europe already had done that because it was banned in Germany anyhow. And so Nintendo of Japan just looked at that and they were like, "Well, this could be bad for us, so we're going to respond to it." But if they don't know what you're doing, I think you can be more successful. And the truth is that a really good story that speaks to a universal human experience, but still has like the core values that you share, will probably be more successful. And people will like it without even knowing what it's pushing, right? Like the original, not the second one, but I assume the original Kingdom Come Deliverance was, like, I assume it was pretty based at the time. And even though the guy got pushback, he didn't care. And the game was good enough that people, played it and it did really well. Unfortunately, he kind of sold out with the second one from what I heard,
Yeah, it is unfortunate that a game that has this story built around the idea of fighting against soulless corporate oppression was completely undermined by soulless corporate oppression, and they think that that is how they're going to avoid having bad reputation or brand recognition. It's like, no, you did the thing. You are the villains of the game, effectively. You're saying that this is what you sign off on.
And this think the song is about you.
Right. It is. Exactly. Yeah. So I have lost more and more respect with Nintendo with each passing year. I haven't gotten a system since the Wii, and I'm more and more at peace with the idea that I don't want anything to do with Nintendo as a company. In 2025 especially, and going forward, I don't have any love lost for them at this point. And there's, like Shigeru Miyamoto is still a good guy. I'm not going to say they don't have decent developers and things like that, but fuck it. I can't. It has gone beyond my ability to just kind of be like, oh, well, it's just a few bad apples, whatever. No, I'm done.
Let's see what you guys are. So what I would say is, like, think about it like there are stories that could be about, like, say, Christianity and not have any references to the Bible in them, like Lord of the Rings. So like Lord of the Rings is a Christian story, but no one thinks it is, and it's very popular.
Right.
So like if you could like do something like that, I think these guys could enjoy a lot more success. Now, fortunately, they do have not just Serena States: The Last Guy, which is the next thing coming out, and I would suggest you guys download the demo for that on Steam or GOG. I think it's on GOG as well. And check that out, which is sort of like a puzzle platformer in the old school sense. But they also have like a turn-based sort of, wizardry, might and magic type RPG coming out, and maybe that will also be successful. I don't know if these, complete dickwads at Nintendo of America are going to be like following these developers to haunt them everywhere. But I think if they can pull off like Serena States, I think it'll be successful. I don't think they'll have a case and against it, because it looks pretty like, I wish less than the Great Rebellion. I'll look into it. Cool. Halo has strong Christian roots and even themes. Yes, that's what that's what I heard too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Imagine a game called Halo.
Yeah.
And the Covenant,
there is a way to do it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I mean, even that's a little on the nose.
Right. The flood.
So,
there's so many references within that when people are like, I don't know why these Christian, right-wing chuds are. It's like, you don't. Excuse me. Halo incorporated all your weird fucking pride flag bullshit insanity. You're not the ones who are getting stepped on at this.
Yeah.
Crazy insanity. Of course, they wouldn't know that because they don't have any reverence for a goodness in general, or actually even having a glancery overview understanding of the Bible, let alone what's actually going on in those stories. So, oh man.
But yeah, that's a good point. So, well, anyway, let's see what you guys are saying about this, and then I guess we have one more thing. Well, we could just talk a little bit about what games we're playing right now. Saint Hugo says, I am an eldritch entity taking possession from a higher dimension. So much for seeing myself. Might as well tell me I need to see myself driving an RC car. Okay, I can't quite follow that, but that's all right. Norwegian Black Templar says, make Space Witch Trials great again. St. Hugo says, just skip Nintendo, period. Dan Silver says, really wish there were more platform options. Xbox is dead. Nintendo barely supports indies. So that kind of just leaves Steam and PS5. Makes you get the execs saying Steam is a monopoly. But it is not, though, because again, there's GOG and there's other places where you can get games. Right. I mean, there's I don't know if they're like the best options. But if you want to own your shit, then go to GOG, because they like, it's not like Steam where you're getting like a license, right? And the other thing is that a PS5 is not doing that great either. I don't think that I think the consoles are like on their last legs right now. So, and yeah, but I don't know. With the future is up in the air. It's hard to see, difficult to see. So, let me see. Norwegian says, from what I've heard, Kingdom Come 2 made the Christian protagonist go full cuck mode when interacting with Jewish and Muslim characters. I know about the Muslim one. I know that. And that they're like, yeah, it totally was. And then you can make him gay too, which is like anathema to the time period. I'm sorry. Deadly Do-Right says, Master Chief's name and Spartan number is a reference to a scripture verse. Bob the Darkest Fairy says, as a woman, this game makes me feel unsafe. Rarely fails. That's true. Norwegian says, the beginning of the Halo theme is even a Gregorian chant. Oh.
Yeah.
Let me see. Miss Roll 303 says, it's not about the content of the game. The woke will ban anything from based people. Yes, if they can. It's just a matter of like who allows it. But yes, they will. Deadly says, Steam is a natural industry leader, hardly a monopoly. And then Zering says, this is where AI comes in, boys. We make our own stuff and share it with people. People can play $1 or $2 to show appreciation. Piss off woke game devs. All right, thank you for that, Zeranx and everybody else. So just briefly, we're going to be wrapping it up here soon. But John, what are you playing right now that you are sort of like, into?
Well, like I mentioned, I did. It is Thanksgiving because I received some very kind game donations recently. Last Sunday, one of my good friends, Beard Juice, got me a copy of Ark: The Raiders because still a whole bunch of people are
Arc
currently playing.
Raiders.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people are currently playing that, so I will be getting into that probably this weekend. I also have been playing Where Winds Meet, which I first tried to play on my Steam Deck, and it looked like a slideshow. So I was like, "Oh well, this is no good." And then I was like, "Well, let me try." I do have a PS5, so I was able to download it for my PS5, and I played a few hours of that. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I can really say for it. It is not something that I see I wanted to play enough of it so that after we get done here today, I'll be
And
doing
talk
an
about it.
episode. Yeah, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
doing an episode of Jester's Act, and we're going to be talking about that. So I wanted to at least be able to talk about it just with some degree of credibility and understanding. But yeah, like I mentioned to you, it's a mile wide and an inch deep. There's not much there to it. There's a
Yeah, I
lot.
played it
There's
for
a
a
lot you
while,
can
and
do, but
I,
it's
I was
just
like, yeah,
yeah.
I played for a while, and I was like, well, look, this is just not my cup of tea. It's just like it does everything, but it doesn't
Mhm.
do anything really great.
Right.
So,
And so yeah, and so there's that for the immediate, but I'm going to stop playing that pretty much as soon as I have this conversation. I played it last night to a point of frustration, trying to figure out in the menu how it was that I could
the
even
menus
exit.
are insane. It's like
Yeah,
the biggest drawback of Where Winds Meet are the menus. I cannot keep track of what is
it
going
took
on
me
there.
a good 3 minutes to figure out how to exit the goddamn game. And I was just like,
Yeah,
I just want to
to
stop.
leave.
I'm
You'll
done.
never leave. You never leave. You no leave game. You stay.
Right.
You buy cosmetic.
Right. It
Yeah.
was like 3 a.m. and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I've gotten what I need from this, but yeah. But I am also, as I mentioned earlier, I am playing through Expedition 33, and otherwise, Death Stranding is kind of my mainstay. I'll always do stuff with
Yeah.
Death, and I'm talking about the first one. I will not worry about playing the second one until it actually comes out on PC, which it has just passed for ratings on. So I imagine within the next 6 months, it will finally emerge on PC, and I will actually give a shit about it at that point in
Ooh.
time. But yeah, because currently it hasn't even sold 2 million copies on PlayStation. So the writing is on the wall. Even their biggest, notable kind of games, things like that, aren't selling well on their
Right.
system. So yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Other than that, of course, I always just Sudoku and
Goku.
yeah, Sudoku is kind of my when I'm laying in bed with nothing going on, but
Ah,
technically it is a game. And
yeah. It
also
is.
doing stuff with
Not
Great
wrong.
Rebellion as well because of all
Mm.
the turmoil that's happened recently.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I've been like keeping it a little bit more chill. I just finished Resident Evil Village, or I never played it before, and I finished it like earlier this week. And that was pretty solid. I enjoyed it overall. But like I think the other day I started playing both, and maybe I'll stream some of this at some point. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and the Shinobi game. Because they're very similar, but they're like, they have a different aesthetic and a different gameplay
Mhm.
thing. And I kind of like both actually, and it's kind of hard to choose. And it's interesting the timing on those. So yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Shinobi, which for some reason I can't remember the full title. It doesn't really matter. You guys know the one. So yeah, that's basically what I've been playing. And also, real quick, I just want to do a promotion for this demo, which you can get right now. It's called In the Black. It's a friend of
Yes, indeed.
John's. Yeah, a guy he went to college with.
Yep.
It is a space combat simulator. So let's take a look at the trailer for this. Just blow it up here.
All hands, Zenith approaching for launch. Open the main hangar door. All personnel return to hard G stations and prepare for combat lockdown.
Rookie, you've got multiple bandits approaching your position. That's it. Hang on tight. You've got incoming missiles. I'm under attack! I'm hit!
We're counting on you to clear a path for us to safely reach the station.
We've scrambled for response, but they won't be in effective range for 32 seconds.
All Alpha level personnel report to engineering.
Box 1. All weapons free. On me. Watch your six.
I cannot wait. They've been working on this for a good number of years now, getting it ready for debut. And
Yeah, the game is called In the Black. You can get the demo on Steam. I have it. It's kind of like a simulator experience. So it's not just like, kind of arcadey space combat. And you have to like it uses like, it tries to simulate actual like space flight. So check it out. Again, the demo is free, and it comes from a guy that John knows personally, so that would be helpful. It's called In the Black. Look it up. Right?
Yep.
All right.
Impeller Studios. Remember if I'm saying it correctly, but yeah, good guys.
Yeah, good guys. So with that said, we're gonna wrap up the show here. John, first of all, where can people find you? We're gonna
in a little over an hour, I will be over on Heavenly Jester's channel doing an episode of Jester's Act. We are going to be talking about Where Winds Meet, as I mentioned. We're going to look over the upcoming season 2 of Fallout, and then we'll be getting into the Keeleys, and we'll be doing that immediately, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow over on Will's channel, as I said, we'll be doing a review of season 7 episodes, 5 and 6. And of course, that starts bright and early in the morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. You can always find me on Will's channel throughout the week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at that time. And then for the random Jackbox games that just kind of happen any day of the week. And then, of course, Sunday night, I'll be on Toasty's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, doing not quite sure what. We usually do our panel stuff on the weekends, and you can find us over there on Rumble exclusively until we get back over to YouTube in January. And Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays as scheduled, unless unforeseen circumstances happen. But with that said, though, I want to, I greatly appreciate everybody who took time out of the day to hang out with us, whether you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. Greatly appreciate everyone everywhere. And, always have a wonderful conversation with you on the weekends. This is one of my more favorite streams to be a part of, because we get a little bit more into things and aren't afraid to say more than just sound bites. But with all that said, though, everybody have a wonderful weekend going forward. Of course, safe travels ahead, and obviously be awesome as always. So, yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys liked this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today, and please, please, please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of The Week in Culture, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life. Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.